We're at Motorcycle Mall in Belleville, New Jersey, and today I'm on an Aprilia Tuono, I think that's how you say it, 1100. I've just started riding this bike maybe about a minute ago, and the first thing I notice is just how comfortably upright you are in this bike. You got a little bit of lean if you're short like me. I'm 5'7", 5'8", about 255 pounds. So the bike, I'm on my tiptoes for sure when I'm on it. That may vary with you if you are a different weight and the same height as me. But at a stop, that display is quite beautiful. It gives you a lot of information. One thing I wasn't sure what to expect was how a V4 would act, as I've never ridden a V4 bike, and if you've ridden a lot of motorcycles, V4s are kind of rare. They're kind of only in Aprilias, a Honda Magna, and a couple other bikes here and there. This V4 is very smooth, especially compared to a Ducati's L-Twin or a V-Twin if you've ever ridden either or. I don't know if it's exactly as smooth as a inline 4, and I'm not saying it's not smooth whatsoever. This is a very smooth motorcycle. But one thing you can appreciate for sure with the V4 that many inline 4s don't have to offer is the amount of instant torque that it's just got. I'm only, you know, at 3,000 RPMs in third gear. I just touch the throttle, and I feel like I don't need to downshift even just going at this low speed. Another thing, this has very soft touch indicator on off. The indicator is easy to get to. It just feels weird at first. You don't know when it's when you've turned the indicator off, because it's not like a tactile click whatsoever. It's more of a kind of a soft touch, almost like a touch screen feel. There's no real feedback to it, which I don't really think is a problem. It would just definitely take some getting used to if you've used most motorcycles' turn signals and then were to get on this. Third gear, 20 miles per hour, about 2,500 RPMs, and there's no real need to be in first gear. The engine doesn't feel like it's going to bog. It feels like it's got plenty of torque right there, which is super awesome. Definitely tiptoeing it. I could probably flat foot if I go to one side, the other foot will come right up. And yeah, I'm wearing my work shoes because I forgot to bring my riding boots today, because I'm coming here right after work. In direct sunlight, the screen, I'm not sure if the brightness can be adjusted on it. Someone let me know. The screen is kind of hard to see, which is kind of a common thing with these LCD screens. I don't know what technology this uses, if it's anything special or if it's just your standard TFT, but it's still definitely seeable. In direct, it's just a little faded. And maybe not so fully characteristic of your typical nakeds. Well, maybe your modern nakeds now, but this has no problem taking a corner. It definitely feels way more of a sport bike feel in the corners and a naked upright. I don't even know if you can call this bike naked. I don't really think it is. No, it's not. Like maybe half naked in the category of its own. Who knows? I don't know if that's traction control or anti-wheelie control kicking in, whatever those flashing lights were, but it really just cut me off at the RPM when I tried to give it full throttle. Wow! The torque on this bike is great. I'm not going to go and spit a bunch of technical specs out, even as I spit them out right now. It's got 121 Newton meters of torque, which, if someone wants to, whoa, hey, alright. Yeah, that's the one thing about riding a bike you're not used to. You don't really know where the horn is. And let's give it a little bit of gas and forth. Yeah, it's got no problem going fast. That quick shift is nice. Very great feature to have, and I have not been on a bike. I don't know if I want to let these guys know. Hopefully it's not too big of an issue, but I have not been on a motorcycle in like pretty much the entire summer due to a knee injury. And being on this motorcycle, and it's an 1100, I'm used to my 300. This is pretty confidence inspiring, even in sport mode. Sport mode has a throttle response, I guess a little geared more towards instant, and I believe there's a track mode as well that can be adjusted on the fly. Now with a short windshield here, you would think that the wind deflection might be an issue, cruising at 78, 80 miles per hour, and it's really not at all. The wind is the wind's not really hitting me. I gotta say, it's pretty impressive. All right, let's try closed throttle downshifting. Not an issue. Bike doesn't lurch forward whatsoever. I think on some other bikes that I've tried their quick shift, they tend to be a little jerky when it comes to quick shifting, especially on the downshift, and this just doesn't have it. It's just very smooth. Downshifting in the middle of a turn, no problem. Brakes feel good. Yeah, these brakes are really nice. It is a really comfortable bike. I don't know how much I can stress that. If you're looking for a sport bike and you've got, you got some sort of back issue, or you can't really do the whole sport bike position for whatever reason you might have, this is a really good alternative. Not to mention that the 175 horsepower is all you need and then some on the street, unless you're 650E, but he's in a category of his own. I don't know if this is a perfect beginner bike for anybody, just because of the sheer amount of torque. I was told that the difference, like sport mode and track mode and the other mode, I can't remember, the horsepower does not change, just the throttle response. So you're going to get your 175 horses all the time, which I know some people either might really like that or might really not like that. So it's one of the deciding factors you've got to look for yourself if you're interested in buying this motorcycle. Yeah, so overall, I really can't pick anything apart here. The mirrors are nice, the wind deflection's great, the screen's great. Maybe they could just have an automatic sensor that adjusts the brightness in the sun if that's possible, or change to a different technology. Brakes, like I said, are absolutely solid. The quick shift's solid. Engine note's pretty quiet for stock exhaust. It's an Italian brand. It's not, and you can't really compare the engine note to Ducati's L-Twin, but with exhaust systems on these things, they sound incredible. Just like the RSV4 or RRs, pretty much, and the RFs and all that other fun stuff. I keep hitting that indicator thing, thinking, if it's not, it doesn't take much to turn that indicator on. Okay, so maybe that's another little nitpick I have at it, is I guess a solid or more tactile feel would be a little nicer. I'm sure it would be absolutely something you could get used to, no problem. Now suspension's another thing. This is set up more like a sport bike suspension, but not like a full race bike suspension. It's really comfortable. It's taken the bumps very well, as you saw here. Oh, yeah, maybe if you're looking for something that has a bit more power than a Ducati Super Sport, but has that sporty feel and has that, that uprightness to it, and is pretty, easily day-to-dayable, this might be your bike. All right, I'm in race mode now. Let's see what the throttle's like. Can't really give it a go too much, but yeah, the throttle throw is definitely shorter. It's more aggressive. I don't really have a lot of time to mess around with that, but in short, that's very responsive that way. Wow. Okay, let's see what else it's got here. Track mode. Throttle response feels pretty much exactly the same in track mode. Kind of hits at that one point. Sport mode. Okay, so I guess that's it. I guess it's got sport, track, and race mode. And sport, yeah, sport, you feel the throttle kind of a little later. I mean, not really crazy late or nothing like that, but just a little later. than you do with track or race mode. You've got to twist the wrist just a tad more, which I guess is maybe this bike's type of comfort mode if you were to compare, or touring mode if you were to compare it to like a Monster 1200 or something of that sort, which I believe this would be more of a competitor for, or of, than, let's say, the Super Sport. That Camaro sounds great. It's got that great characteristic of a V4, L-twin, or V-twin, just that V configuration, and I'll give it even more of a comfortable feeling, or more, there's just more smoothness to this than you would get out of your V-twin or L-twin, for sure. And you get all the benefits of the torque too, so if you're looking for something like that, this is another, this is an excellent choice. You could easily city ride this or track ride it. Another thing I'm noticing is I'm not getting any type of crazy engine heat off of this bike. My legs don't feel uncomfortable in the slightest. And this is the first Aprilia I'm on, and I would say if you're going to compare it again to Ducati or something, you'll notice Ducati sport bikes really tend to put out some heat on the side, whereas this is just completely manageable.